and the way we're trying to use it, which is as something quite practical. So the students actually make a project around those ideas and work with those ideas as the materiality of the project itself. It's not a separate lecture. And I think that's key to our method at the moment, really, is that praxis.
Yeah, there's one bit that I had to skip out due to trying to keep on time. It was up on the board, but when we broke 3 ecologies down into things like resingularization and existential refrains, we asked students to read that, and really, they did really struggle with it, yeah? And we didn't actually set and say, oh, well, an existential refrain means this, yeah? We gave them the examples from 1,000 Plateaus, and we got them to play with that idea. And we showed also how Guattari does that an existential refrain itself, say, somebody talked about like pop music in the 60s, Jimi Hendrix, you know, yeah, you'd smoke a spliff and get really off your trolley and it's really great and you're out there and you're away from capitalism. But then again, it's taken back in, yeah? So that keeping outside all the time, that sort of subjectivity that wants to be on a boundary, on an edge, with technology, with philosophy, with theory, that's where we're at. So it's in those gaps that we've discussed. So we think we're kind of getting a radical pedagogy here, yeah? We're kind of working at it. It's the first year of this course as well, so it's early days.
Thank you. Is there any other question? Yeah, here it is. Okay, the last one, yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate your approach. And I guess one of the questions I have, which is, I think it's really that this exercise of measuring other things than you're used to measuring, the sensor activity is a really good one. But if you think of this room, there are so many things going on in this room that are unmeasurable. And so how do you bring into this practice, and this gets into a discussion Pierluigi and I have been having about how we're focusing on certain senses that allow measurability, but there are all kinds of other senses we have, like the sense of gravity, which are unmeasurable.
I certainly wouldn't say the sense of gravity is unmeasurable myself. I am actually from a science background. I actually did environmental science, and I think the immeasurables are the interesting part. They're the ethico-aesthetic that we're actually talking about. So we're not, but I think is how I see it is that the kind of prison house of language, the post-structural sort of turn, led to a disengagement with the real, yeah? Now, when we get to climate change and stuff like this, and like over rapid development in China, just whole forests being chopped down and pollution going up at massive rates, we have got a real, you see. So this kind of neo-realism is the part that is the problematic, really. If we abandon any sense of empiricism, yeah, that you can't measure, you know, to take empiricism totally is stupid, yeah, but to abandon it is stupid. So that is the actual kind of diagonal, horizontal, or whatever you want to call it, that we're working in, I think. There's no strict answer to what we do with it, but we present it as the problem. The whole methodology really is problem-based learning, yeah? We don't offer them anything, quite honestly. Yeah, they have to sort out these problems. And I think that's a problem with assessment of this type of work, because often we get conceptually high-level work, and we do have disagreements about how we assess this.
We have a lot of disagreements, and also by the time we get to the end of the project, the students have figured out that no matter what data you capture, at whatever level of complexity and contradiction within the data, in some way, by doing the project as data visualization, they're kind of folding it back into another type of realist kind of paradigm, aren't they, in a sense? And that's what, but really that's the way in which we problematize it as a communication design project. Perhaps it's another level of realism within these now very, very popular data visualization frameworks that are so trendy, especially on the internet and such.
Okay, thank you again.